So Satnam, beautiful goddesses, and welcome to our Moon Goddess Training Q&A and info session. What I'm going to do today is I thought it would be a really cool idea to go over the, I have a name for these and I'm blanking, the sort of a schedule for each of the classes that I've used in the past so that you can get an idea of like exactly like the flow of how everything goes, because what you probably know so far about the Moon Goddess Training is that it is a 3-level program, or if you didn't know, it is that it lasts for like a whole year. And so you're really in the process for a whole year working through everything that we cover. And that's actually really, it's been super awesome because we get time in between the levels to integrate, and we get a whole year to really like let it all sink in. That's why I feel like this is like a mystery school, like kind of university level stuff. So it's so funny because I'll tell you a little personal story. Today, this whole week has just been crazy. I don't know how you guys have been feeling the energy, but it's been kind of all over the place. Emotionally, it's been up and it's been down. And always, 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 like whenever I feel afraid or whenever there's like something going on in my life that is like scaring me or like making me feel uncomfortable, every time I come here into like our global community and I do any kind of event, it like all instantly just like goes away. And I feel so much better. Like this is truly what I love doing. And so I just wanted to let you guys know because I'm feeling so grateful. Like today was kind of a total weird energy day for me. And now that I'm here, I'm like, yes, this is what I love. This is what I'm meant to do. So excited to share it all. All right. So I'm going to do a screen share real quick and show you where you can find most of the information. I'm going to go over it, but most of the information for the school and like the payment links and stuff like that. So on my website, which is channelforgrace.com, you select the tab that says Moon Goddess Training. It's either at the top or on your phone. I think it's on the sidebar. And this is like a general overview, although it's pretty extensive of what it actually shares. But you can look at and see the tentative dates that we're going to be fully immersed in the program. We officially begin February 9th, which is our Nile River initiation, the beginning of the journey. And we do a really beautiful Akashic journey on that day. And then you can see all of the dates here. And it's the same for level 1, 2, and 3. What you get also here is an overview of what are some of the topics that we're going to cover. Although I feel like there's so much more, but this is the basic. And you can go through and look at each level and the dates and stuff like that to check, because that's always important. But the cool thing is knowing and having all that information ready is actually really cool because you can plan for it for the whole year. And yet every time we finish a level, we take like about a month break in between, which makes it really, really nice. So this is where you can find most of the information. So to give you an overview of what is the Moon Goddess Training, I'm just going to read from this website, and then we're going to go into the itinerary of each of the classes. So basically, this is an Akashic certification. I love you guys loving each other in the chat. So the end goal is that, but it's so much more than that. There is so hard to like, and I see like some of the ladies here have recently graduated, have done level 1 and level 2 that are here, and I love that. But basically it's hard to pinpoint what it is because there's so much. But the end goal is that you become certified to read the Akashic records. You find your own unique way of doing that and you fully embody it. And the whole process for me, reading the Akashic records is not just like knowing like the technique of how to do it. Reading the Akashic records involves literally knowing who you are to the fullest. It involves knowing your design, knowing your astrology, knowing your gene keys, knowing all the things that make you you, knowing how to navigate through life, you know, on a daily basis, having all of the tools to do that, understanding how the universe works. You have to have all of that knowledge in order to be able to fully understand what I mean by reading the Akashic records. And once you know yourself and you know who you are, the technique is like easy, like, okay, got it. But you got to get to that point, you really have to know yourself. And so that's what we do. We get to know ourselves. We heal, we move through all the, you know, whatever is challenging, difficult, transmuting shadows into gifts, like really diving deep into it. And then at the end, we get to have all the fun in level 3. Although the whole program is fun, but I mean, we get to play around and practice on each other, and it's just like super, super fun. So in level 1, what we do is we study all the fundamental things that help us to understand what the Akashic records are, how they work. And this level 1 is the most jam-packed with information, like overflowing, overwhelming amount of information. I provide you with handouts for everything. Like, I don't know if you could see this. This is like my level 1 binder. I mean, that's a teacher binder, but still, it's like handouts for everything you can imagine. And you can like take note if you love that. Like, I love school. So this is like so fun for me because it's like the fun kind of school. But I literally give you everything so you can, it's very organized, it's very clear, and it's organized through what topics that we go through each week. So level 1 is, let me go back to the screen share, is basically learning all the fundamental stuff. So it's the Hermetic Alchemy School, level 1. Once we get that and like the full experience of like, what does it mean to have to do an Akashic record journey? How do I integrate that? We do a lot of work in level 1, but it's the more personal work happens in level 2, because in level 2, we apply all the teachings like deeply into our personal life. And this invites us to heal from trauma, to awaken, to start to awaken our intuitive abilities. And these will help us to tap into and be able to recognize how it is that the Akashic records communicates with us. And then level 3 is the actual certification. So let's go into and talk about the itinerary of each of the levels. So we'll start with level 1. This is basically the order of the weeks, because we have weekly meetings. And this week they're happening on Sundays, 12 to 5 p.m. Pacific, I believe. But don't take my word for it. I'm just kidding. I'm going to check the website. Dude, I have so much in my head. Yes, 12 to 5 Pacific. I'm laughing at myself so hard right now. All right, so we meet weekly. What we do first for level 1 is we always have like an orientation type of meeting, and then we like dive in. So in level 1, our orientation is called the Nile River Initiation. And this is what's going to happen exactly on the new moon in Aquarius on February 9th. And that day is very significant. And the reason why we start on a full moon is because we're learning at the same time the phases of the moon. Like, one of the things that we learn is like what is the phases of the moon? What did they do to us? What do they mean? How do you know, what's coming? I love that, Liz. She's, I love your organization. Yeah, exactly. No, I'm like full on with this whole thing. And so we start on the full moon, on the new moon, and then 2 weeks later we like hit that full moon energy. But we're going through it together, and it's the first time that we're doing it as a group. So that's part of the bonding experience. Is like, let's watch ourselves and how we flow with the moon, because the moon is a very important like theme. Obviously, it's called the moon goddess training. The moon is like the sacred feminine. It's the archetype of the high priestess. It's like goddess Isis. It's, Hathor. It's, the energy of the emotional realm, which is the feminine realm. And so we start on that new moon, we initiate. And we have this beautiful journey through the Nile River that starts us understanding why are we talking about the temples of Egypt, right? Because it's all like every little thing that you can think of has been thought of and like aligned, and a powerful, like one thing leads into the other. And understanding the importance of the Nile River. So, for those of you that don't know, the ancient like history is in ancient Atlantis was actually right there where Egypt is. And there were temples there that were the temples of the initiatic path. And these temples later on in Egyptian times they built temples on top of the ancient temples. And so they hold frequency. They are like very, very ancient. This was the OG mystery school, right? And we tap into that by going through this journey. Each temple leads into the next. So Abu Simbel is the first temple where we study the root chakra. We study the law of polarity and sexuality. We study the energy of sexuality. Like, how does the root chakra like correspond to us learning about our sexuality? What's the connection between the two things? I have my notebook here too. I'm going to tell you there's a lot more than just that. We talk about astrology. We start talking about astrology during this week. We start talking about the gene keys during this week. We start talking about the importance of emotions, and I give you like a whole chart of the moon centers, which is a Kundalini yogic practice to understand the emotional flow of the woman. We have like a daily journal that we start. We dive into chakras, understanding the chakras, and it's more than just the 7 chakras. It's basically the 12 chakras. And these 12 chakras are connected to the 12 astrology signs and the astrology wheel, and it all comes together very beautifully like at the end. We also initiate our journey of our 40-day meditation, which is the meditation that we do together for 40 days, and we start basically on this first week. Once we understand that root chakra energy, it's time to move to the sacral chakra. And this is in the temple of Isis, who's the great mother. So we learn about the law of generation. We learn about purification, rebirth, the great mother, what all that literally means. On this day, we do a very specific meditation every week that aligns us with the energy of that day and that theme and that temple. So on this day, we do a meditation called the Ma meditation, and Ma means mother. And they're all Kundalini yoga meditations. And what I forgot to mention, like the coolest part is like we go through Akashic journeys into back in time into each of these temples on each Saturday or Sunday this year that we come together. So we have a beautiful we have like this lecture part of class where we're learning like logically and mentally the topics and understanding them through the mind. And then we have meditations which literally help us have the whole body, mind, spirit connection experience. And then we have the full blown Akashic journey. So we're doing all the things like body, mind, spirit the whole time. We're like taking in the information in all of these different ways. And it's beautiful because that's really how you truly learn. So on the day of the Temple of Isis, we dive into the moon centers. We talk about creating a mini altar. We talk about the 7 laws of the universe and what they represent. We continue with the Gene Keys journey, and then so on and so forth. The Kom Ombo temple, we study also the sacral chakra. The sacral chakra, there's 3 temples connected to the sacral chakra because there's a lot to go over in that chakra. But we learn about the law of polarity and generation again. And then the Kom Ombo temple is the negative aspect of the being, basically the shadow, the darkness, the trauma, the fear. And then the next week is the Temple of Horus, which is the light. So it's the darkness and the light. And then putting all those together, you really start to understand, what do we mean by the law of polarity? What does it mean to have like right, left, yin, yang, light, dark, and how these 2 things live within us? Then we move on to the Temple of Karnak, which has a lot to do with understanding how the body has a relationship to the divine. And this is the week where we talk about the systems of the body and how each of these 12 systems of the body are connected to the astrological signs, and how whenever you move through like new full moons, any kind of energy like that, wherever that sign is landing relates to a specific chakra and a specific system of the body. So we learn about that, and we focus also on the solar plexus chakra and the law of cause and effect, anchoring the personality systems of the body and the body as our temple. And then every day, every day we just add a little bit more and add a little bit more. And by this time, we've already started to dive into learning sacred geometry, all of the shapes, what exactly what they mean. Why would we learn about sacred geometry and the connection between sacred geometry and astrology? And then we get to the Temple of Hathor, which is the heart chakra, the law of rhythm. We talk about cosmology, we talk about astrology, we talk about the Merkaba, sacred sexuality and love, and even and more than that. And we do our journey and our meditation. Then we go to the Osirian temple, the throat chakra, the law of vibration, purification of the voice, chanting, frequency activation, sound healing. In the temple of Dashuran Sakara, we study the third eye chakra, the law of correspondence, the calibration, the activation of consciousness, the opening of the third eye. And in the Great Pyramid, we dive into the crown chakra, the law of mentalism, the water activation, the spirit and the divine, the Akashic and the flower of life, and the planetary web. So basically, all of these things are cumulative and they add on to the last thing that we learned. So that's the beauty of like level 1. But honestly, like, yeah, there's so much information. You will have an abundance of new things coming at you that are going to be so like fascinating to study. If you love Hermetic alchemy and all that jazz, this is going to be like heaven, like a little playground. So that's level 1. And it's the most, like I said, concentrated with information coming at you. Now let's switch over to level 2. Here we go. So in level 2, the schedule, it's different. We still meet weekly, but it's different in the sense that my focus with level 2 is, let's start to understand how the Akashic Records communicates with us, how we communicate with the Akashic Records, and then let's start doing the real work, meaning the shadow work, the trauma work. Because what we do in level 2 is we dive into the Venus sequence. And the Venus sequence is freaking heavy. Courtney knows all about it. I'm totally kidding. But I remember she did level 2 and then she was like, I need a break. But it was kind of like, it's kind of like that. It's heavy and it's a lot. And so we take it in little by little. We do our best to like, integrate it, but it is heavy. This is the heavy one. So you can see here, there's like different sections or different weeks. And the way that level 2 works is we have our orientation, and then every week that we meet, we do an Akashic journey. But then we start to really do different types of journeys. Before, the journeys are like fully guided, and these are guided journeys too. But the difference is you start to interact with the records in these journeys. And these are the same things that you're going to learn to do readings on in level 3. An experience of your Akashic records. What are the records to you? What do they look like to you? An experience of the chakras. How do you read your own chakras? An experience of crystal gridding. How can you grid crystals through your space, your energy field, your chakras, all of that? Akashic astrology. How can you tap into the Akashic records and receive information through the language of astrology and how to interpret that? Spirit guides. How to communicate with your spirit guides through the Akashic records. How to clear your energy and your space through the Akashic records. How to connect with loved ones that have passed on, mediumship. How to understand soul contracts and soul contracts with between you and people in your life. And then eventually you'll do soul contract readings for other people. And then at the very end, shamanic journeying and what shamanic journeying is for and how we do it and why we do it. And so these are the themes that will continue into level 3, but level 3, you're going to get to do readings for other people. And level 2, you're like doing readings on yourself while I'm guiding you through it. We also talk about astrology, but this time we do astrology more in the way of like, how do we read charts? How can we read a natal chart? What does it mean? What information do you get from a natal chart? Obviously, every week, Venus sequence, we go from sphere to sphere. And then we also study the Enneagram in level 2, which I don't know if you've ever heard of the Enneagram, but it's a beautiful, it's not a personality type thing. It's more of like a belief system. And so when you understand the belief system that's kind of functioning behind your psyche, you really understand yourself and you understand other people better. We also start diving into human design and understanding our type and our strategy, our authority, the centers. We also talk about the laws of the universe, but this time how to apply them into our lives. We continue with astrology. We learn progressions, continue with human design, authority. We talk about synastry, which is a aspect of astrology that helps you compare two charts and put them on top of each other and see what do they mean. Continue the Venus sequence. We go into profile and incarnation crosses in human design and what that means for you. We talk about doing composite charts in astrology on week 6 and the centers part 1. And then we continue week 7 learning about a really, really cool type of astrology. I call it Atlantean astrology, but it has to do with learning all of the main soul contracts in your life with all the main people in your life, like the main players in your life. It's like really, really cool. And we learn how to do it. And so you learn how to do it for yourself, which means you learn how to do it for somebody else too. And then the next week, we continue with the centers in human design, the Venus sequence, and then we finish the Venus sequence on the last day. So it's like also jam-packed, not as much, but it's more of like, let's explore more ourselves and get to know ourselves. And then in level 3, the schedule changes like a lot, because level 3, we're no longer meeting once a week. In level 3, we have 3 weekend intensives and 6 practice sessions. So in the weekend intensives, these are the wrong dates because they're obviously 2022 dates, but the weekend intensives, we're together Saturday and Sunday around 12 to 5 p.m. both days, Pacific. And we do our Kriya practice. This is where we really go even deeper into Kundalini yoga. And instead of just doing a meditation, we actually do a full-on Kriya for prosperity. Because the other theme underlying level 3 is understanding your prosperity sequence in the gene keys. So this Kriya aligns with activating that energy and unlocking prosperity for you. Because we're talking about like, hey, maybe I might, not everybody does, but I might actually do readings and charge people for them, like actually get abundance from me being able to do this, from me being certified as an Akashic record reader. So we dive into the Pearl sequence. We start to practice like literally day 1. or day two. And that's, Maricela earlier, I did an interview with her and we're talking about how like in level 3, everybody was just kind of like blindsided because we started right away, like practicing on each other and everybody's like, wait, I'm not ready, but you are so ready. um, but yeah, so we start doing like, okay, let's do chakra readings on each other. And then the practice sessions are like evening sessions, and we literally talk about what type of reading we're going to practice today, and then do a trade, and then come back and share. And that's how all the practices go. And so we do crystal gritting, we do Akashic astrology, all the things that you learn how to do for yourself in level 2. Now you get to start to practice with other people. So it is really amazing. This foundation, I always need to be pushed and never think I'm ready. Yeah, exactly, right? And so weekend 2, we continue pearl sequence, we continue practicing. It's mostly like literally like just go in, just dive in, let's go. Like there's no need to like think too much about this, but it gets really fun, and we really do start to learn some really powerful stuff during level 3 about ourselves as readers. So that's basically in a nutshell how it all works. I want to pause there and I just want to kind of open it up to questions or comments. And you can see that it's like really, really jam packed with information. I would say this is like this is the most comprehensive program that I offer, where we cover so many different types of topics that you're going to get a huge like repertoire of information to like always have with you for like ever. Love that. Thank you, Jeanette, for sharing. Yes. We'll go to you, Courtney, in 1 second. I do want to mention that actually this year, what we did start, you're talking about like getting a tutor to like reinforce the stuff. And actually this year we started the Moon Goddess Rising Leadership Group. It's a membership that's literally $9.99 a month. And it's open to anyone that has taken like level 1, 2, or 3, and it's kind of like the continued education. And what we've been doing in there is like diving deeper into astrology, like having these like lectures and things like that, like going on, but interactive group lectures, which I mean, you got like, we just did one on progressions, and we looked at each other's like progressions, and it was like just crazy, like all of like the fun interactive aspect of it. So you can do that as a continuation, like whenever you like sign up, you can sign up for that as well. So I did want to share that because I'm excited about that. There's continued education as well. And so the whole reason to do it again, especially if it's been like a long time since the last time, would be to just be with a group too, because like that's a big part of it. Is like Lish was saying something earlier about the live experience, and that really, it's like makes a huge difference. Like that's really what helps us all like integrate it together. We're kind of like in it together for the whole year. And so that is actually it's one of the most powerful things about the program. Yeah, so anyone that's thinking about like retaking, I say like, yeah, go for it, especially if it's been a while since you had the opportunity to do that. Anyone, I want to answer a question that Lish posted in the chat. Yeah, the live experience is awesome. What days is level 1 again? So what I would recommend is you go to the website, because it's literally posted on there on my website. And but I think we're basically meeting on Sundays, mostly Sunday. There's one Friday night, I think, but then mostly Sundays, starting February 9th to 11th for level 1, and it's like 12 to 5 Pacific. Actually, I can just share the screen. Like, why am I doing this, trying to memorize this? Which one is this one? Yeah, level 1. Okay, so you find this picture, and then it literally says level 1, 12 to 5 Pacific, and then it's got all the dates, and they're basically all Sundays except for the 9th. So that's you can take a little snapshot of that if you want. But yeah, I'll just keep that up for a second. And I think level 2, I think we do Sundays again, but we take like a month break in between. Okay, so let's go back to the share, and then I'll just show you what I was trying to show you. So basically, if you click on the payment link, what I just noticed is that you could pay with the card or you could do Cash App, but then there's this tab. It's called Affirm. And what it does is it gives you the opportunity to actually do payment plans for any of the options. So basically, the deals that are going on right now is you can do, if you just want to sign up for level 1, and if you sign up through January 31st, it's going to be 888 only when the regular price is 111. So this is like for anyone that wants to sign up and just try level 1 first and then like see how it goes. Although I highly recommend you do all 3 levels, because that's the way to like streamline the whole thing. And there is plenty of time in between to integrate. This is one option. And then the other option, okay, and then when you do this, you basically, I think it does something about I don't know exactly how it works, but if you get, I think you have to get approved though for this one. But it's not like a regular kind of a credit check thing. It's different. So check that out if that is helpful for you. And then the other one too, the 222, it is a one-time payment. And then also if you use this option, you can also do that Affirm thing. See if you get approved for that, and see if you can do payments. I also offer a payment plan myself if you want to just go directly through me. Although for the payment plan, I have to charge like the regular price of all the 3 programs. So it makes it a little more expensive if you do the payment plan with me. So I just wanted to show you this because this might actually be a really great thing for some of you guys, and it might work really well for some of you guys. So basically what they do is they give me the full amount and then they let you pay payments. That's how they do it. So basically you're making payments to this company called Affirm. I mean, you can do research on it or whatever you need to about that, but I just wanted to show you because that's like really exciting. So that is all I wanted to cover for that. And if you have any questions, if anything comes up, if you're watching the replay, because I know there's going to be a lot of people watching the replay, please just reach out to me. I want to like make this work. If you see yourself here with us, I want to make this work for you because it is really a powerful experience. I think that's pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about. So if there are no more questions, then we are complete for the evening. Thank you guys all so much for coming here live, and thank you to those of you that are watching the replay. And I hope you all have a beautiful end of the week and a beautiful weekend. And yes, I love what Jeanette, you just said. There's always a way. The universe will open the doors for you. Yeah, please reach out to me if you are like, I don't know if I can do this financially. Reach out to me. We'll see if we can work something out. So thank you all so much. I will hopefully see you guys very soon in the Moon Goddess training, and I'll upload this as soon as it's done processing. So Satnam, everyone. We'll see you soon. The Moon Goddess training has elevated me to new heights. This program started as a seed, an idea, an insight, and desire to share my wisdom with the world. I never knew how much the evolution of this program would change me, transform me, awaken new gifts, and allow me to fully step into my design. I am a 2-4 mental projector with the right angle cross of consciousness. I am here to channel and share what I see. I am like a satellite tuning into the frequency of the collective and channeling through what we need to live and move with grace. Mine has been a path of patience and gradual growth towards success and true recognition. I feel seen, and it is divine. What I see is each and every one of us fully embodying our unique design. knowing what is right for us, knowing how to face our shadows and find the light in the dark. When we fully activate ourselves in this way, we are an unstoppable force on this beautiful earth. 12,000 years ago, I was a student in the ancient mystery schools of Atlantis. I learned that in order to navigate successfully in this universe, you need to know how it works. 12,000 years later, my passion is to teach you how the universe works so that you can live your life to the fullest. In 2022, I received a very detailed download of the magical path that this moon goddess training would take. And now we are entering our third and sacred Trinity year of operation as a full-blown mystery school. We travel through the ancient temples along the Nile, absorbing information along the way, letting go of what does not serve to make space for the new and the magical in our lives. We learn to read the Akashic records in our own unique way so that you too can channel sacred information and inspire others. Many of us long to be free to be ourselves. We long for satisfaction. We long for peace. We long for success, and we long for joy and laughter. It is time we stop putting our dreams and desires aside for a world that is already crumbling. It is time to fully embrace our new future. As we step fully into who we are, we transform the world. The great mutation that is approaching is asking us to trust our intuition, to trust our feelings, to trust our inner knowing. Are you ready to co-create this new world with me? Join us on February 9th of 2024 for the Moon Goddess Training. Go to channelforgrace.com for more details. Satnam, Waheguru, and may your inner light guide you always and forever.